Samson and Duuuuub here, week 5. Here we go. Hit the music, music lady. Welcome to week 5, Samson and Duuuuub. What's up, Duuuuub? Duuuuub? Where are you, Duuuuub? Oh, that's right, you're not here because Samson is the winner. All right, I am sitting next to Duuuuub. Are you ready to get this started? Week 5 projections. Music lady, cut the music. Okay, let's start this right off. How are you, Duuuuub? How are you after last week?
Well, I got beat pretty bad, but all in all, I'm doing all right.
It's nice. It's good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Sam.
All right.
I mean, we're going to get right off into it.
We are. We're going to go to the Thursday in the game. We did not do this last week. We are going to start doing it now. Let's see. We have Arizona and St. Louis. Dub, you take the honors.
Not the most exciting matchup, but should be a pretty good game. St. Louis at home. Still a little bit underneath the radar. They have gotten a couple good games out this year. Arizona, as we all know, 4-0, playing great football. Coming from last season, playing great. I don't know, right now, I know Arizona's the only favorite on the road, but I really like St. Louis here. I mean, they're very quietly winning a few games. They should have beat Detroit at their house. They did beat Seattle at home. I don't know, I'm going to say that Seattle keeps the ball rolling on Thursday night, and St. Louis gets the win.
You know, Duuuuub. Yeah, it's a tough one. It is. It is tough. I'm going to pick Arizona only because of the streak they're on, going into a big, around the country, everybody's going to be watching me game. So I'm going to take Arizona. This game can go either way, though. Even though the records show a little bit different, I can see St. Louis taking this game. It would not surprise me.
Well, I mean, I kind of feel that Arizona's due. They are due.
They are very much due.
They're not going to win them all. I just don't see them having a better record than Houston or Atlanta down the stretch, which means I think they will lose before those two teams, and I think this will be the game that they lose, and I think they'll be 4-1 after this week.
Fair fight. I think they'll be 5-0. All right, let's go to 1 o'clock games on Sunday.
Oh, the big day, Sunday.
Woo!
Sunday.
All right.
During the NFL season.
I love Sunday. Oh, my God. Atlanta and Washington. We're going to start off right there. Now, we both took Washington last week. Is this going to change things up, them going in against Atlanta? Although they are in Washington, but they are going to be playing a tough Atlanta team, undefeated.
No, I think I might stick with Washington here. I don't know. I mean, Atlanta is great. Washington has been okay. RG3, Matt Ryan, possibly you can make an argument that they're the top 2 quarterbacks this year even. I mean, both of them are lighting up the scoreboard. Fantasy-wise, they are number 1 and 2, I believe. But Atlanta, they're going on the road. They haven't always been the best road team. Washington is not an easy place to play. I don't really care who you are.
It's not.
It's always a tough place to play because the stadium's loud. They have a big, roaring fan base. They're going to get loud. The team is going to be pumped up. RG3 at home playing against a big team. I'm going to go with another upset here. I'm going to say Washington pulls it out at home.
I have to stick with Atlanta. I do. Especially after what they did last week. They just, I think they're going to take that momentum from the end of that game and move it right on into Washington. I think RG3 is going to come up just a little short this week. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to go down to the last 5 minutes of the game. You're going to not get an idea who's going to win this game until then.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be going right down to the wire.
Well, if there is an Achilles heel for Washington, it's the defense. I mean, I know they did lose a few key players this year. That can hurt them. I mean, Atlanta has a lot of players that you have to match up with. So I could see, obviously, Atlanta going in there and beating them, but I just like Washington.
I just got to do one thing before we move on to the next game. Roddy White. I loved it. I still love it.
Well, you watch out for Julio Jones, too. Julio Jones might be the best second-year receiver in the game this year. Julio Jones is going to have a big year, and he is having a big year.
He is.
He's a little bit quiet over there.
Philly at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh coming off a bye week.
The Battle of Pennsylvania. I don't know. That's a great matchup. Defense, offense. Man, right now they got Pittsburgh as a little bit over a field goal favorite.
That's
a tough pick. I mean, Michael Vick hasn't been great. LaShawn McCoy, he hasn't had the season I think people were expecting him to have. Deshaun Jackson hasn't really had a season people expected. They are kind of down, Philly, really, even though they have a 3-1 record.
They are.
But I'm going to go with the home team here. I'm going to stick with Pittsburgh. Palomalu's back. Pittsburgh with Palomalu is like peanut butter and jelly. It is just the best thing that you can have for lunch.
It is. PB&J is fantastic. I gotta go. I'm gonna go make some PB&J. I'll be right back. No, Pittsburgh takes it.
Well, there you have it.
Pittsburgh takes it. Philly. Last week they were at home. I think that changes. Philly's fan base is amazing. They're gonna take this game. I think Pittsburgh is at home.
No, I definitely think so.
Coming off a bye week, resting up, get some of the top defenders back. Yeah, let's move right along. Green Bay at Indy.
Well, you're looking at a 15-1 team from last year going to a 1-15 team from last year. This should be a beatdown. I mean, really. Come on, I know Andrew Luck is
statistically it should be a beatdown.
I know Andrew Luck's been pretty good. You know, Indy hasn't been as bad.
He hasn't had any luck.
I mean, come on. It's the Green Bay Packers here. Indy's coach has just been diagnosed with leukemia.
Yeah.
Sad to hear it.
I hope you get better.
You know, Indy's such a young team. I don't know how they respond to that. They might come out.
They don't.
They
don't.
Yeah,
I don't see them responding to it.
A good day at all. I really think Green Bay goes in there, maybe puts up like 40 points.
Look at New Orleans. They have a well-established team. They lose their coach. It's kind of like, okay, who are you guys?
Right. What happens when it's a bad team that loses?
Now a bad team like Indy loses their coach. This is not going to be a fun game to watch.
I'm going to say Green Bay wins it by the widest margin of the whole week. I say Green Bay wins maybe by 35, 38 points.
We're on the same boat. Same boat. Cleveland at New York Giants.
Well, this is what I'm going to go with as the upset of the week. The Cleveland Browns always beat the New York Giants. I remember a few years ago they went there on Monday night, and the Giants were a 10-point favorite, and it was a big game, and Cleveland came out and ended their 0-4 start, went to New York, and went in there and beat them down the whole game. I'm going with the upset here. Cleveland is due for a win. The Giants coming off a pretty tough loss. They missed the field goal at the end twice. They're going to be a little bit down. The Giants are going to lose at home to the Cleveland Browns. And you will not like it. And no one else will like it, but it's going to happen.
Giants take this game. Don't listen to Dub. Listen to the winner from last week. Giants are good. All right, let's look at it a couple weeks ago. There was another fine stat we were looking at. Bills couldn't win in Cleveland since 1995. They go in there and they win 24-14. Now you're saying this little stat. The G-men take it.
It's going to be the Cleveland Browns. Oof, oof, oof. And they're going to take the win, and it's going to be the upset of the week.
Oh, no. It won't be the upset of the week. If it's the upset of the week, I'm going to be real pissed. Tennessee and Minnesota. Okay, I got it. Go ahead, Dub. Go ahead.
Well, Tennessee, Minnesota, I mean, with the way Minnesota's playing right now, it's really, really hard to pick against them. Tennessee's playing bad. Minnesota's playing really good. They're going up to Minnesota. That crowd is going to be rocking. It's a loud dome in there. Percy Harvin's getting revved up. The defense is getting revved up. Christian Ponder's playing good. I mean, if Tennessee can get a little bit of a passing game going and Chris Johnson can stay at 100 yards rushing a game, they will have a chance. But I'm going to say Minnesota pulls it out at the end.
Agreed. I think it is going to be a closer game than what people think it's going to be. I have to say I agree with you. Minnesota takes this. Not by much, but they are going to take it. Miami at Cincinnati. Oh, boy. Well, this is a tough one to pick.
This is a tough one.
Especially you have Miami coming off. You know, if this was last week, I probably would have said Cincinnati all day long. But now, after seeing what Miami did last week, can they build on that, or is it just kind of like, all right, we have one good game, we're going to go back to being the Dolphins?
Right.
You know.
Well, I mean, at the beginning of the year, and if you looked at this game at the beginning of the season, you would have thought this is kind of a dud game. But this one could turn out to be a really good, close game the whole way through.
It's an important game.
Right, maybe like a 24-23 kind of score. It's going to come down maybe to a field goal or a late touchdown, something like that.
It will.
I could see Reggie Bush having a good day. Cincinnati's defense is down this year. Last year they finished, I think, in the top 5, maybe top 10 at least. There was a really good D. This year they're letting people pass it on them, throw it on them, run it on them. They're letting them get all over.
And they're going back to the way they were.
But Cincinnati can score too.
They can score. This
has the potential to be a high-scoring game. But at the same time, it has the potential to be a low-scoring game. It depends on what the game plan is. If they want to go in and run the ball, kill some clock, or if they want to throw it around. I think anything the offenses want to do, they're going to be able to do. So, but I'm going to go and say Miami pulls out a tough road victory, sticks around the AFC East, makes it interesting, and it's not going to make the Bills fans very happy.
You know, I want to agree with you. I do. A part of me is like, I probably should here. My gut's telling me go with Miami. For the sake of argument, I'm going to go with Cincinnati. And I'm only saying because they did great last week. They held their own a lot better than I thought they would. And I think that they're going to pull this off versus Miami. Probably with 3 points. Between 3 and 7. So I'm going to stick with Cincinnati. I do think that they're going to pull this off. Gut instinct says Miami. Facts in my mind is just saying just go with Cincinnati on this one. As a Bills fan, I sure as heck want Cincinnati to pull this off, about 30 points. Baltimore, Kansas City, this is a pretty straight shot.
Well, this one, looking at it, you would think Baltimore's going to go in there and beat them pretty good. This could be a little bit of a trap game for them. Baltimore's not always the best road team. Their defense hasn't been as good as it normally is. If Kansas City can establish a ground game, not turn the ball over, they really have a legitimate shot here at an upset. But I'll tell you what, Flacco's having his best year as a pro so far. Torrey Smith has been great, lights out since, even with the passing of his brother a few weeks ago, ever since it feels like he's playing with a more urgency. Maybe he's dedicating it to his brother. You know, he's been really good.
It seems like it, yeah.
I really want to pick Kansas City here. I like Kansas City, but I'm going to stick with the Baltimore Ravens to pull off a road win.
Yeah, I have to stick with the Baltimore Ravens too. Here's why. I'll make you a plain simple. For those of you who are not really good with stats, like Statmaster Pete over here, Baltimore and Kansas City. Kansas City, they base their game on their offense. If their offense gets it done, they can get it done. Now, Baltimore, they can play their offense great, but their defense is what is scary. It's scary good. Now, Kansas City, basing just off their offense, and if it does good, they still sometimes lose. Now they're going in versus one of the best defenses in the league. That spells trouble for Kansas City. Baltimore takes this one. Seattle at Carolina.
Well, Seattle, once again, staying on the East Coast. This time they're going to see Cam Newton up close and personal. Newton's coming off his best game of the season. This is a tough one for Seattle. Can Russell Wilson handle the pressure of another tough road game? Carolina needs a win right now. It's only because New Orleans keeps losing that they're alive in this division race. But if Atlanta keeps winning, it's going to be Atlanta, and then everybody else is going to be way behind them. So Carolina is going to come out knowing that they need to win. I'm going to say Carolina gets it done by a hefty 14 to 17 points.
Yeah, that's probably a good pick on that one. I'm gonna have to agree with you. Carolina, Seattle, they come off versus a huge game versus Green Bay, and then they go into St. Louis and they totally.
And
what happened?
Yeah, and don't forget, Seattle's a totally different road team than they are a home team.
They are.
If Seattle played 16 home games, they could win 12 a year.
Yeah.
But they don't. They play 8 road games, and they win 2 of them, usually each season. So they're just not a good road team, especially going all the way to the East Coast. I don't know. I really like Carolina there.
I agree. Chicago at Jacksonville.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chicago's that engine is just revving up right now.
Last week I said that defense was going to win that game, and that's just what they did.
Well, they might come out and win this game too. I mean, they're playing possibly the worst team in the NFL over arguably the last 5 or 6 years here, and that's talking Cleveland, Buffalo, St. Louis as well. Jacksonville is just bad. Quarterback's
They
bad.
are. They seem like they're making no additions to this team.
No, they don't. They have bad receivers, a bad quarterback.
They never make a big move.